And he does.
Question number 2, Todd McClay.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister of Finance, how has the government balanced the need for responsible fiscal management with its continued support for New Zealand families?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, despite difficult economic times in the last 3.5 years, the government has been committed to taking the rough edges off the effective recession for New Zealanders. We've done that by maintaining large programs such as Working for Families, interest-free student loans, New Zealand Super and early childhood education subsidies. At the same time, we've worked hard with the public service to improve public services because government spending increases through the early 2000s were unsustainable. And we've been able to do this at the same time as set a path back to surplus in 2014-15.
Todd McClay.
Supplementary to the Minister, what progress has the government made since 2008 in getting on top of debt and putting its finances in order?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, we've made steady and consistent progress rather than dramatic progress. However, the first forecast the government received in December 2008 showed sharp rising public debt and never-ending government deficits, leading to net government debt hitting around 60% of GDP by 2026. The steps we have taken since then mean that by 2026 net debt is now forecast to reach zero, and the government remains on track for a small budget surplus in 2014-15.
The Honourable David Parker.
Is it responsible fiscal management to spend $120 million on consultancy advice and marketing for his sale of state-owned assets program? And if so, how are those asset sales going at the moment?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the asset sales program remains on track. A number of some issues. There's nothing new or unexpected in the reports from the Waitangi Tribunal.
Todd McClay.
Supplementary to the Minister, despite tight fiscal constraints, how much does the government currently invest in programs supporting New Zealanders?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, we believe it's been important to provide New Zealand households and families with security about their income through difficult times. We are spending $2.6 billion a year on Working for Families payments, which have recently increased by 5% on the 1st of April. We'll spend $1.4 billion this year on early childhood education subsidies, 60% more than in 2008. We've spent $156.6 million on paid parental leave. This has increased from $135 million in 2008. In fact, paid parental leave has increased by $67 per week since 2008. The annual cost is forecast to rise to almost $200 million a year by 2016.
Todd McClay.
Supplementary. What reports has he seen that would require the government to borrow hundreds of millions of dollars more over 4 years?
The Honourable Bill English. Mr Speaker, I've seen an official's report that a proposal to roughly double the paid parental leave scheme would cost taxpayers an extra $439 million over its first 4 years. As I've said, the government is currently spending about $150 million a year, and this will rise to $200 million a year by 2016. The government simply doesn't have a spare $439 million. It would have to borrow that from overseas lenders. We believe the current extensive support for families has been supportive of their family incomes through the last 3 or 4 years.
Question number 3, Matiria Ture.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.